I think all of us tuning in have had one or more childhood adverse events, right? Where it's some trauma, some physical, mental, emotional trauma. So, the loss of a loved one, a parent, somebody going to prison or jail, alcoholism or drug addiction in the family. Even if you didn't embody that yourself, in the family, they've studied that causes of childhood adverse events. And the more childhood adverse events you have, the more likely you are to end up with chronic diseases like cancer. That massive study that was done by Kaiser Permanente, it's called the ACEs study. The more adverse events you have, I think it's 3 or more, they looked at that literally reduces 20 years off of your lifespan if you don't ever heal that underlying trauma. And that can be anything from all those things that I just mentioned.
And in that, to kind of, I guess, you're the expert in this field. I've been on the fringes of the field as far as just being around people like you, I guess, is the way I've kind of absorbed stuff. But it can be real or perceived as a child, right? It's not that this had to have happened. It's even if I have the perception of a child and I witnessed something that didn't, like I heard a story once of a lady who her father had thrown her up and then caught her at one point just playing, but at 3 or 4 years old, all of a sudden that became a traumatic event later in her life because she felt this sense of fear and was, here he was putting her in danger and risk. And all he was doing was like literally like we do with our kids, right? We toss them up and cut. But it doesn't have to be that you had something that was like a major, major thing. Like externally, it could have just been an internal irrationalization or an internal misperception of what was the reality of the situation, but that still embeds in us, right? It's still
100%.